We have a very special guest with us now. I tell you, when I was a legislator, and we had to make up all these bios, and I really kind of regretted it when people read them. Just that's the way it was. So I'm not going to do a big bio on the senator, but we appreciate Senator Brian Kelsey joining us today. This is a Saturday, and you all are in session, right?
We are.
So he has to drive from Memphis to Nashville and back, and I can tell you, as a former legislator, when you get home on the weekends, you really don't look forward to doing a lot of outside things, but sometimes you have to. And so we really appreciate him taking time away from his family out for us today. He is a senator from this area, Germantown area, which is about south of here a little bit?
Just east.
Just east, okay, so yeah, east west. So, but he started out as a representative in 2004.
That's right.
Correctly, ran for a midterm replacement in the Senate.
It was a special election in 2009.
Special election, was elected there, and then was reelected to his first full term just last year. Serves on Fiscal Review Committee, which gives him a lot of information and insight into how Tennessee operates and the fiscal conditions of the state. So we've asked him to come and tell us about Tennessee, the fact they haven't had an income tax, the fact that they're not falling off the end of the earth. He's not a flat earth society guy, so he's still round, he's still going around. So if you would join me and help welcome Senator Brian Kelsey.
Thank you very much, Scott. Well, I have a particular talk that I give around the state of Tennessee, and it says we're experiencing dark days in Washington, D.C., but skies are bright in Tennessee. And I just realized this morning that this talk doesn't work when it's rainy outside. But nonetheless, despite the rain outside, I am here to tell you that skies are bright in Tennessee. And I appreciate your having me here, and I appreciate your taking the time to come down to the great state of Tennessee. We are honored to have you here, and I hope that I can show you that what we have going on here can be replicated elsewhere. I am now serving my second year in the state Senate, having served in the state House, and one of the big issues that I'm working on, it just passed its first reading in the state Senate on Thursday, so we'll have 2 more readings, and hopefully it'll pass the state Senate this coming Thursday, is the No State Income Tax Amendment. And what that does is it says not only do we not have a state income tax in Tennessee, but if we pass this and put this in the Constitution, we will never have an income tax in Tennessee. And we feel so strongly that we have been successful not having a state income tax that we want to go ahead and ensure that it is ensconced in our Constitution forever. And that resolution actually passed the state Senate last year. It passed by a vote of 25-7, by the way. This is a bipartisan amendment, and it has broad support throughout the state, from all the way here in West Tennessee through Middle Tennessee to East Tennessee. This year, the hope is, with a new Speaker of the House, that the resolution will actually pass the House as well. And the other big news that I discovered this week is that we now have our new governor, Bill Haslam. We have the support of the governor for this resolution as well. So I feel very confident about our chances of getting this amendment through so that we can continue what we've been doing here in Tennessee. So let me tell you what we have been doing here in Tennessee. I mean, you've probably heard some of the statistics. Our revenue, we have just over half of our state revenue comes from sales tax. Another 13% comes from franchise and excise taxes on businesses, and the remaining third comes from a various assortment of other taxes and fees. And with that tax base, we now have here, just in Memphis, we now have 3 Fortune 500 companies that are headquartered here. Those are FedEx, International Paper, and ServiceMaster. And the last 2, International Paper and ServiceMaster, have just relocated their headquarters to Memphis in the last 5 years. Also in the last 5 years, we have gained the headquarters of Nissan North America in Nashville. And in the last 5 years, we've been able to recruit various businesses. The biggest industry has been in the solar industry to complement here in Memphis Sharp Manufacturing's being the #1 producer of solar panels in the entire world. We have now been able to recruit some foreign businesses, Vacher and Hemlock, to Middle and East Tennessee as well. Of course, I'm sure you've probably heard about our huge investment from Volkswagen in East Tennessee as well. And we just had another announcement last week here in Memphis. We recruited Electrolux company out of Canada to come down and open their operations here in Memphis. So exciting things are going on. Now these skies are bright in Tennessee despite the fact that it's raining outside, despite the fact that these, let's be honest, these are tough economic times. You know, and no one's going to say any differently. I am a member of the Fiscal Review Committee. The Fiscal Review Committee actually puts price tags on all of our bills once they're introduced in the legislature. So that's a very important committee to be on. I realized once I got into the legislature and started working very hard to get on there, because if you got a price tag on a bill, then unless you come up with a revenue source, then you're not going to be able to pay for it. As I say, thankfully, we have adequate revenue in Tennessee, but nonetheless, when bills cost money, as anyone knows who's been in the legislature, it's a lot harder to pass them. But because when they cost money, they not only have to pass the committee that they normally go through. So, for example, I have a tort reform bill this year that I'm working on. That's got to go through the Judiciary Committee. It's not only got to pass the Judiciary Committee, it then has to go to the Finance Committee if there's a cost associated with it, and then it's got to pass the Finance Committee as well. So I also worked very hard to get on the Finance Ways and Means Committee, and was able to be successful in that effort this year. And so I now serve as a member of the Senate Finance Ways and Means Committee. Also, you know, other issues that the Opportunity Scholarship. Actually, the tort reform bill doesn't have a price tag on it, thankfully. Now, Opportunity Scholarships is a bill that I'm working on to provide students with scholarships so they can go to school wherever they want to go to school. But that, there is a slight cost associated with that I'm working on, and so again, it helps to be a member of the Finance Committee as well, to be sure that you've got the votes on that committee to get it out too. But having said all this, in these difficult times, as a member of the Finance Committee, I was put on there in part because I was told, you realize these are hard times, and you know, we're faced with a tough economic situation right now. And when you go on this committee, you're going to have every person under the sun that's going to come to you and say, hey, we need extra money for this and that and the other, and you have to keep the big picture in mind. And I said, absolutely, I can do that, no problem. And that worked out. But in these bad times, relative to other states, because we don't have an income tax, Tennessee is actually doing fairly well. Now, are we faced with difficult budget decisions? No doubt about it. And I'm not here to tell you that that's not something that we're facing. But you don't see the huge budget cliffs that other states are falling off of right now. California, Illinois, a state that has an income tax, just passed a 67% increase in the income tax. Because once your revenue base is tied to the income tax, when you hit a tough financial situation like we're in right now, then that's the only place you can go to come up with that revenue. And so they passed a 67% increase in their personal income tax just back in just a couple of months ago. And that's the sort of thing that thankfully we have not been forced to face in Tennessee. In fact, we have had no proposals to increase the sales tax over the last 2 years since the economic downturn in 2008. And when our governor delivers the State of the State address here next week, we also will once again see no proposal to increase the sales tax. So skies are bright in Tennessee, and I'm happy to entertain any questions you have.